All right, it is time to build our Draftkings main slate for college football in week 3 player pool. As usual, with the new setup, I will talk about my core plays at each position, give at least one GPP play where we're going to get different, and then provide the rest of my player pool as I've kind of narrowed it down to who I'm going to kind of look at. I like to try to give a player pool of ancillary guys that I'm going to mix in potentially. Doesn't guarantee I'm going to play them. Doesn't guarantee that I might not add a guy late, depending on injury or what pops up. But right now, this is kind of the baseline of where I'm going to be at. Starting off at quarterback, core play number 1, Jamatir. They lack a run game. They're going to beat the snot out of Temple, thankfully, because I can't stand Casey Keeler. I'm going to continue to trumpet that. Jamatir has looked every bit the part so far this season, throwing up a 33 spot on Michigan. This price tag is well deserved at 9,400 due to the lack of the run game. He's not going to run a ton in a blowout situation. We saw it against Illinois State with only 24 rushing yards and 1 touchdown. When he gets to those bigger games in SEC play, he's definitely going to try to run it a little bit more. While he's fully healthy and in command of this offense, I think we see something similar to this Illinois State game. He's got easily 30-point upside. We only need about 28 from him at 9,400 for him to beat value. And projection-wise, he's projecting for about 35 points. So great play on Matir. Have no issues with him. He is going to be a core play for me and in lineups, no doubt about it. Core play number 2 for me is going to be Eli Holstein at 7,400. Price tag's great. He's got mobility. You can see it right here. They've had 2 blowout games. He's had 36 and 41 yards. While it's early in the season and he's healthy, I'm going to take advantage of that. I think West Virginia's down, but being at West Virginia will help matters. I think he has 300-yard passing upside with another 50-yard rushing upside with a touchdown on the ground. I do not mind having him and his running back in the same lineup, given his versatility. He's the second best points per dollar guy, well, third best points per dollar guy for quarterback. He is a core play for me. Have no issues getting to him whatsoever. I love the price on him. Third core play for me is going to be one of my favorite players. I've been trumpeting him for a while. It's Bayron Morton. I was worried about him heading into last week. He was banged up with a lower leg injury. Thought he should have sat out against Kent State for the specific reason of playing this Oregon State team this week. But he played anyway, threw for 258 and 3. He's got limited rushing capability. I still love the price tag. He's going to throw for a ton of yards. He's a great guy to stack with. And at 7,300, it's hard not to love him. I think on this slate particularly, he has some rushing capability, but I think we see it. He's got the safest floor of that lower end price range. No doubt about it. GPP play. So I only have one this week that I'm really targeting, that I'm willing to target. I think you take shots. He's going to be low owned. I don't want to. We hit on Arch last week. I'm going to take Cade Klubnik at 8,700 to mix in a little bit. He's been absolutely awful to start this season. The run game isn't great. Georgia Tech's going to push them. I don't think Georgia Tech's defense is as good as LSU's. So Cade hasn't looked great, but he's going to have to put the team on his back to win this game. This is a very must-win game for them if they want to get where they want to go. I think Klubnik puts the team on his back. I will take shots here and there. I would not overexpose myself, but this is a guy that I think comes in at super low ownership, and you should be taking shots on him. Rest of the player pool, Arch is going to be in it just because he has the upside to do what he did last week, which was throw for 4 touchdowns, run for 1. he's got upside for that. Mateer's a better play. Arch will come in slightly lower owned than Mateer, though, and he has similar upside in this game. Jaden Maeva, he is clicking on all cylinders. He's definitely in the pool. 8,900, solid price tag. He's below Mateer, probably slightly ahead of Arch for me, but I would rank he's close to a core play to me. He's going to be a guy that I want to get to, and you can stack him with two wide receivers. The one trepidation I have that doesn't make him a core play is how bad this USC team struggled when on the road last season under Lincoln Riley in their first year in the Big Ten. Purdue, yes, they stink, but USC struggled with Maryland last year, and Maryland stinks. So how do they perform on the road? That gives me enough trepidation that I'm going to limit exposure, but I'm going to have pieces of that, no doubt about it, because I'm a big Maeva believer. Haynes King is going to be in the pool at 7,800. I prefer Holstein and Morton in that similar price range. He looks like he's going to be the starter. He was a full participant this week so far. They're going to have to play hero ball. I think they just said, hey, man, you ran for 156 and 3. You won that Colorado game for us. We're going to rest you against a team that we don't need you against. You have had health issues for the past your entire career, basically. We're going to sit you down. We're going to get you healthy for Clemson. That's when we need you. He can do this. That 19 for 156 and 3 is an unmatched capability. He has double-digit rushing touchdowns each of the last 2 years. He can throw the ball. He's got good weapons on the outside. I do not mind taking shots on Haynes King. He's arguably a GPP target similar to Klubnik. I think that whole game is very wild card central. I think it comes in lower owned, but has the capability to shoot out in that game, leading to King being a solid play, but he's in the pool, no doubt about it. Last guy, if we're dumpster diving, I am going to Gunnar Stockton at 6K. I have no issues playing him. I think that they end up winning this game. It's probably a lower scoring game. I like Stockton's rushing upside more than most. I think he has good weapons. The weapons are a lot better than they had last year on the roster. And I think Tennessee will be able to stop the run game a little bit better than they can the pass game, leading to Stockton being used a little more. This is going to be a lower scoring matchup, but at 6K, he comes in as the second best points per dollar play for me of this pool. So I have no issues with him. I think that there's big plays to be had in this game against Tennessee. I don't think Tennessee is going to be much for them offensively, but if they can put up a couple points here or there, it'll push Stockton to be able to hit some numbers at least. Running back wise, core play number one is going to shock 0 people. He's sitting behind me on the screen. Desmond Reed, 8,500. That's too cheap. This is like Christian McCaffrey's price in NFL DFS last week. If we knew he was fully healthy, we all would have played him 100% at 7,300. Desmond Reed's 8,500. He's my number one back on the week. I'm going to play the heck out of him. He's not the highest points per dollar guy, but he is a stud. And he has not had a monster game yet this season. But look at the floor. It's been consistent in the 2X range in these blowout games. I think they're saving him for these exact games where they get into them with the West Virginia, get to these bigger games where they're probably, supposed to be a slightly closer game. I think he ends up being 5 to 8 catches in this game, 10 to 15 carries. And any one of those touches can be an 80-yard touchdown at any given point in time. He's going to be a featured member in most of my lineups. Now, second core play is going to be Justice Haynes from Michigan. I think they lean into the run game. Most teams, they want to try to throw the ball in these situations on these games where their passing offense has not clicked yet this year. Michigan's never quite been that way. They're just like, okay, we're going to go in, we're going to get our win. And that's going to be Justice Haynes territory. He projects better than Desmond Reed this week from a point standpoint. I think you have to have at minimum one of Haynes or Reed in every team. I'm going to try to fit both in almost every team, most teams, but I think I can get different a little bit here and there. But I do want to play both as my base. If I was playing one lineup, it's Haynes Reed as my top two running back pairing, because I think Haynes can go get you the 100 yards and at minimum one touchdown, similar to the OU game last week. I know he broke the 75-yarder, but this is Central Michigan, so I'd expect something closer to this New Mexico line where he gets 100. But I think if you expect that 125 and 1 with like a 24-point projection, that's perfectly fine at 7,400. We're looking for 3+X. He's a core play, no doubt about it. Get him in there. Final core play. I'm going to go out on a limb because I need value somewhere if I'm going to get John Mateer. This was the first back off the thing. I didn't look into it enough. He was the first guy up. I don't think Jam Miller plays in this game. I don't think he needs to. I don't think there's any reason to. Wisconsin stinks. They're starting their backup quarterback more than likely. I don't think Billy Edwards plays. It seems like we're going to see Danny O'Neal. Danny O'Neal makes way too many mistakes. He needs some time before he's ever going to be ready to play here. I'll take Kevin Riley at 3K. I'm going to take shots here. He played too well last week. This is more of a passing-based offense, but I think Riley ended up separating himself with what he did last week, and he performed admirably in that Florida State game by comparison to everybody else. It's earned him opportunities. He's been explosive across the board. I'll take shots on Kevin Riley. I have no issues with him being my core play for me, but there are other options you can go to. So, top GPP option. This is a little out there, but I just have a gut feeling here. I'm taking Carson Hansen as my best GPP play. I think he comes in massively under-owned, and this just has the makings of a game where Carson Hansen rushes for 100 yards and 3 touchdowns. And if I go with, I debated putting Rocco in my pool. I took Rocco out of my pool because he was 7,500 and right around all these other guys that I liked. I'm putting Carson Hansen in my pool. I think that they run the football on Arkansas State. They're able to score touchdowns on the ground. And ultimately, Hansen finds the box twice, and you have a 20-point outing from him. Could be more. I mean, look at this Kansas State line. Imagine adding 2 touchdowns to that total. Now you're looking at 23 points at 6,800. He's going to push for 3-4X, in my opinion, at very low ownership. I don't think anybody's going to end up playing him. All right. Rest of the player pool. CJ Baxter at 7,500. No issues getting there. Wisner sounds doubtful. I think that Baxter's going to get used plenty in this matchup. They used him a good bit last week. He's still coming back. I think he almost qualifies as a GPP play, priority play. I just think people will get there. But 7,500, he's priced right around Justice Haynes. He is a pivot and a half off of Justice Haynes. You know, imagine Baxter goes 64-2 right here. It gets you to 20. And then Haynes has 80 scoreless yards for some strange reason, then you're massive leverage on the field there. I don't like it, but currently I'm going to leave Mark Fletcher in the pool. I think he's the top option in this backfield. He's played fairly well facing South Florida. I don't know that I end up getting there. I debated it removing him, but his projection made me say I'm going to leave him there for the time being. We'll see whether I end up getting there or not. He's definitely the best guy, but man, that backfield's really split. I probably end up Xing him from my pool eventually. Adam Randall, I'm going to keep in my pool for the time being. They clearly trust him much more then they trust Gideon Davidson, who I think eventually takes in some of that role, and Nzuame. So I would say Randall needs to be in the pool at 6,200. Facing off with Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech gives up a little bit of run game. Randall's a good player. I just don't love the fact that, I think he's a great pass catcher. So I think you have some added value there. 6,200 is a very palatable price tag. I just think there might be a guy that I like a little bit more in that range. Wayman Jordan at 7,600. By the way, I'm doing all these guys in order of my projection. So that's why I'm jumping around from a dollar standpoint. He's a fabulous pivot off of Jaden Maeva and the receivers. If he boxes it 4 times, I prefer this play to Baxter probably because I feel more confident in Jordan getting there and him being the top back. The kid's been absolutely amazing. I think his workload continues to grow. He's a safer option. Fabulous pivot off of Justice Haynes, who could outscore Haynes this week. Nate Frazier at 6,300. As long as he holds on to the football, he's going to be the top back in this backfield. That's very evident. I have no issues if you want to get here. Him and Randall and Fletcher is an interesting proposition. I think I prefer Frazier to Fletcher, and I think I might prefer Frazier to Randall. He might be the top of that trio, but I think it's closer with Randall. I think it's Frazier, Randall, Fletcher for me in that range, but that's the reverse of my projection, although I would say Randall's 1A, 1B with Frazier because of the pass catching upside. As long as Frazier holds on to the football, that's his biggest knock. Otherwise, he's a heck of a football player, though. All right, Noah Whittington at 5,600. I don't know what to do here. I feel highly confident that he scores a touchdown this week. I'm just scared to death that he has 4 carries for 91 yards and he could have 0 touchdowns. So there's very high upside here. There's a very low floor. 5,600, he feels safe because he should get early touches, but man, they are using everybody. I mean, we're talking 10, 11, 12 guys. I think the water boy gets a carry for them every week somehow. I don't know what to do with that. I'll still go there. If I'm in that price range, I'm going there first at 5,600, and it's over the other guy in that range. I will go there over going to Devin Maccabee at 5,400. Maccabee, fabulous bring back in that USC game. If you really want to ride into it, he can catch the football out of the backfield. He's more explosive than he gets credit for, and he's willing to handle 30 touches. I think if Purdue can push USC, it's going to be on the back of Maccabee. So I have 0. We've talking about 2 very different players at 56 and 5,400 between Whittington and Maccabee. Maccabee, full-on volume play. You're going to get 18 to 30 touches out of him, whereas, Whittington might get 6. So I think the floor, you would almost say the floor should be better for Whittington, but Maccabee, man, I don't know. I think I prefer Maccabee to Whittington. The upside is there for Whittington, but the safety factor of what I'm going to get from a touch standpoint leans me to Maccabee. I'm going to have to get a feel on that. All right, if we're going against Carson Hansen, it's Abu Sama. I don't love it. I think you could go there, but I'm just not doing it. I haven't seen it. He hasn't looked right since that he has not looked to be the player that we expected since the Kansas State game in Snowmageddon, in Farmageddon. I just don't think I can go there. In fact, I'm just going to X him out of my pool now. There you go. Delete. He's gone now. Easy enough. All right, last 2 guys are a nice cheap options for us. I'm going to go find let's not even bother finding him first. Let's go to the Northwestern kid because he's easy to find. Joseph Hyman II. I don't necessarily advise this play, but he is explosive. He is going to get work. And with Cam Porter out, this is your starting running back for Northwestern. Now, if they were playing just about anybody other than Penn State, Ohio State, and Oregon, I'd feel really good about this play. But they're playing Oregon, and they're going to get the doors blown off of them. Granted, their coach has been smart, and he hadn't fired up Dan Lanning by talking crap about him. I don't hate it. I prefer Kevin Riley at 3K and use the 900 somewhere else. And I probably prefer the counterpart in this game at 3K because we've talked about the water boy getting carries. I think I prefer Jaden Lamar at 3K as well. He's been kind of the second back in the rotation. Similar story to Whittington, but with less risk at 2,400 less. I will take shots here. Have no issues with it. 6 carries, 87 yards, and a tud. I mean, we could easily see a Montana State situation where he gets 3 carries for 20. That is the concern. But at 3K, if he gets me 9 points, I'm happy with it. So if that allows me to get Justice Haynes, Desmond Reed, and some stud quarterbacks, I don't mind taking that shot, and I don't mind mixing and matching Kevin Riley with Jaden Lamar as my 3K punt option in the flex spot. I just prefer Riley. I think he's a little safer than Jaden Lamar. All right, wide receivers. Core plays at the wide receiver position. Starting off with my top play, top overall projected player. He deserves it. He's a PPR stud. Give me Mekhi Lemon at 6,700 as the top wide receiver on this slate. He's a core play for a reason. He's going to get a ton of targets. He's the best player in this offense. He should be stacked with Jaden Maeva. He's the number one stacking partner, but you can play him without Maeva. No issues whatsoever. I love this kid. Absolutely fabulous. This is almost like a greatest hits segment for me. The number 2 guy is controversially the guy that I picked to be the number 1 wide receiver in the entire ACC. Core play, Bryant Wesco. He's emerging as the top option in this offense. He brought them back to the victory against Troy here. He performed as the number 1 wideout against LSU. He's been the top option across the board. I will take him and play him without issue. He's too cheap at 5,600. He should be north of 6K, no doubt about it. Core play number 3. He is a core play because this is a PPR website. Trent Walker. Trent Walker does not score touchdowns. Period. End of story. They're going to have to throw the heck out of the football against Texas Tech. He's going to get a ton of targets. If he gets me 9 for 136, I have no problem if he doesn't score. That's 25 points. He scored 1 touchdown all last year, and he did very similar things last year. He's a core play, deservedly so. Projects as one of the better points per dollar plays on the slate. He's definitely going to be featured in lineups. No doubt about it. All right. And next core play is Reggie Virgil at 5,400. Personally, I think a lot of people are going to go to Coy Eakin. I prefer Virgil. I think Virgil's the top option in this offense. He scored each of the first 2 weeks. He's one of the better players that transferred from the G5 up. I think he dominates in this game as well. He's the number 1 stack partner for me with Bayron Morton, which you have to stack Bayron Morton given the lack of his rushing capability. I'm going to ride Virgil. I think a lot of people go to Eakin. I'm not going there personally for good reason. Last core play, and he deserves it. He's priced too low. He should have been moved up into the 5Ks. It's the roommate narrative. You've heard me talk about it. I was right 2 weeks in a row. It's Parker Livingstone. I mean, him and Arch Manning, it's kind of funny. Everybody's been talking about, well, Arch doesn't look right. He's not throwing the ball deep well. He sure seems to be connecting with Livingstone, though. 23.5 right here. He hit that deep touchdown against Ohio State, and he hit Livingstone deep as well in this game. He ain't got no problem connecting with him. He's got problems with Wingo, but he's got no issue connecting with Livingstone. I got no problems playing Livingstone. 3,500, far too cheap. Amazing value on him. He's a core play. So that's our 5 core plays at the wide receiver position. Those are the guys that I intend to mix and match the most. But we're going to have to get different some places because I think those guys are also probably going to be highly owned. GPP options. We just talked about Texas. You want to get way different, go to Wingo. I mean, nobody's going to do this because he's led the team in targets each of the first 2 weeks. All it's going to take is him and Arch connecting. I think it's going to happen eventually. It's just a question of when. 7,200 is way too much. You're playing twice as much for a guy that has not produced nearly on the level of Livingstone, and they project within 0.2 of a point of one another. Livingstone makes a ton more sense from a logic standpoint, tournament standpoint, similar to the Josh Cameron thing from last week. All the other Baylor guys were priced down. Wingo's coming. Eventually, he's going to hit. I think you can, if you're playing more than 5 or 10 lineups, you need to take a shot on Wingo. Get him in there. I think he comes in way under-owned because there's a lot better plays in that same range. Number 2. This guy's probably getting 0 ownership, and the reason is Coy Eakin's here. I would rather play Caleb Douglas than Coy Eakin. He's ran more routes than Eakin or Virgil each of the first 2 weeks. He's on the field a ton. He was great last year, has a good connection with Bayron Borton. He just hasn't gotten going. This one I'm much more confident in than I am the Wingo deal. I do want to take shots here. I think there's no issues with you pairing Virgil and Douglas with Bayron and hitting the double stack. No doubt about it. Caleb Douglas is going to have big games. Everybody's going to freak out early in the season. I have no problems going to Douglas and getting there. I have a ton of confidence in that guy. I love that play. I will play that. I feel better about that than I do Wingo. Douglas is a great play there. With all of the ownership going to Mekhi Lemon at 6,700, I think Jacoby Lane's going to come in under-owned. I think you can play both with Jaden Maeva. Coming into this year, Lemon was more when games that Maeva started, he was more a the dink and dunk guy where he caught more PPR options, whereas Lane had 7 touchdowns in 3 games or 8 touchdowns in 3 games with Maeva at the end of last year to close it out. So I would love to be able to get to I think Lane as a pivot off of Lemon is a great option because if he goes, he could easily go 5 for 110 and 3, and Lemon just is okay. So you're getting leverage on your own play because I think everybody who stacks Maeva is going to stack them with Lemon due to the price discrepancy here. And I think getting Maeva with Lane or Maeva with both is a great way to get different. Other players in my player pool at wide receiver. Wide receiver is always going to be a bigger pool of players because you have to start 3 of them. You could start 4, but I prefer to keep it to 3. Deion Burks at 7,500. If you're playing Mateer, you don't have to stack him, but he's the clear number 1 in this offense. 7 catches in each of the first 2 weeks. I have no issues if you want to do that. Jeremy Bernard. Ryan Williams is going to be back. I'm not playing Ryan Williams. Period. End of story. I'm playing Jeremy Bernard. If Ryan Williams is back, even better. Jeremy Bernard's better play. I would rather play Jeremy Bernard. If they were priced both at 7K, I'll still play Jeremy Bernard right now. Jeremy Bernard's the best player in that pass catcher in that room right now. I laughed. I actually saw somebody saying that, "Oh, is Jeremy Bernard the wide receiver 1 now? Like, has he taken over that spot?" He was to end last year. The last time we saw Ryan Williams outperform Jeremy Bernard on a consistent basis was early last year. And really, Ryan Williams had spike weeks, and it just happened to be games that we all watched. I get it. But especially the Georgia game, he was amazing. Bernard was consistently the better player the entire second half of last year. He's been consistently the better player to start this season. Give me Jeremy Bernard over Ryan Williams all day, every day, right now for DFS purposes. I'm not saying talent wise, I'm just saying production. All right. The pick guys, they're interesting. I love the idea of a Holstein with Des Reed with a wide receiver stack. I still have to make a decision on this. Haven't quite come to my conclusion yet, but Raphael Williams projects the best so far. I do not mind Raphael Williams as the top option in this offense. We'll have to wait and see. 5K reasonable price tag. If that's my triple, I have no problems there. The other option would be Kenny Johnson, who we kind of expected to be the top option heading into the season. But they spread it around. So I have no issue if you want to just avoid the pit wide receivers and say, hey, this is a little too complicated. But I think Kenny Johnson is a fine play. I might prefer Johnson, but it's going to come down to what kind of salary do I have left over in that situation. If I'm going to take a shot on an Iowa State pass catcher, it's Ben Bramer at 3,800. He's too cheap. I think he's the number one pass catching option in this team. I would prefer, he's a tight end. He's not going to be super explosive, but he has the capability to score multiple touchdowns. He's scored 3 already that scores wrong. It's 18.1. So he has an 18.1 and an 11.8, yet he's 3,800. He can pay this price tag off, no issue whatsoever. He projects extremely well. He projects for almost 17 points. He's probably the second best points per dollar play on the slate, other than Parker Livingstone. I'll take shots there, but I'm want to play Carson Hansen if I'm going to play Iowa State guy. But Bramer definitely in play. If you're sitting in that 3,800 range, no issues whatsoever playing him. DeCorian Moore, I think you need to have him play at 5,900. He was in play for me last week as a GPP option. He can score from anywhere on the field. He's going to end up being the wide receiver 1. It's just the volume is a concern. 2 catches, 69 yards and a tud, 1 carry for 25 yards and a tud. That is what he's capable of. I don't know how much I get there. I probably won't end up getting there a lot. So, but I think you leave him in the pool. And if you have kind of an itch, scratch it with that one. All right. Cheap option. Taz Riddick's had a monster game last week. The reason he's not a core play is because Trent Walker's by far and away going to be more targeted and safely targeted. In the Cal game, he didn't really get much going. Last week, he got peppered, with targets, 11 for 158. So I'm willing to take shots at 3,700. I don't like him more than Livingstone. That's why he's not a core play. That's why he is the core play. But I also don't mind taking shots if you're like, hey, I want to play Riddick's and just mix it up a little bit here. They're going to have to throw the heck out of football. I debated including their quarterback, Malik Murphy, in my player pool. But at the end of the day, I do not trust Malik Murphy whatsoever. And I think the defensive ends and the D-line is still underrated for this Texas Tech team. They went out and bought some absolute monsters, specifically David Bailey from Stanford. So that's going to be a tough one. Haynes King's partner, I think he's too cheap. We're pricing him off of the fact that, where is Malik Rutherford? 5,200. So Malik Rutherford at 5,200. He's getting this price tag based off of the fact that he didn't do anything in this Colorado game, but he left in the first quarter hurt. So 5 for 62. I think he's very reasonable play. He's not bad. There's just better guys in that range, with your Wescos, your Virgils, your Walkers. If you're stuck in that range, I do not mind him whatsoever. He's in play. If you want to pair Haynes King, I don't mind him. And Eric Rivers. I am an Eric Rivers fan. He's just kind of getting used to, he's an explosive weapon. But I probably prefer Rutherford to Rivers this week, given the Clemson defense. I just don't know how much I'm going to get to them because I don't know that I need to. in that spot. Purdue's one bring back option, and I'm leaving him here. Their bring back option is as a pass catcher. Michael Jackson. I'm fairly certain. Yes. Okay. The only reason I'm leaving him here, he had a good game against Ball State, 6 for 72 and 1. That's to be expected. He was operating as the top option. 3,900. The only reason I'm considering this is he left USC to come to Purdue. I love a good revenge game narrative. So I'm tempted for the sole fact that he actually went to USC. It's going to sound crazy. He does project reasonably well. He projects well. He projects for about 14 points. I would love that. I'm debating that for the simple fact that he went to USC. I mean, that's the only reason he's in the pool right now. I don't know if this guy's going to end up making my pool. He's here right now. I think he's the best option as a Wisconsin bring back. Catching passes from Danny O'Neal. I don't know that I end up here. Just like I said, you've got your Taz Reddicks and Parker Livingstone, Ben Bramer. There's a lot of guys that I prefer in this range. Vinny Anthony would be the one guy that I would bring back a semblance of, hey, I'm going to play, if you said, hey, I want a Bama stack, Vinny Anthony's the guy that I'm going to bring it back with. But I think that they just get steamrolled in Bryant Denny this week. If our guy Antonio Williams is out, which I think he will be, Tyler Brown will again man the slot for Clemson. I don't mind this price tag. I think he's a very high floor play for Clemson here. If you want to get off of Wesco, play a cheap piece of this game, it's 100% Tyler Brown that you want to play. I think he's a great quality option here. He was a guy that played great. I believe there was a Syracuse game a couple years back, his freshman year, that I ended up playing him. He absolutely just smoked in. Oh, we're getting into some longer shots here. So deep cut. Similar to the Carson Hansen, I have a feeling. I got a feeling on Zach Branch this week. I think he hits a long touchdown or two, and there is a high probability that him and if I'm playing Gunnar Stockton, I'm playing one of two guys. I think Zach Branch is my gut feeling of the week with Carson Hansen. I'm going to take some shots there, and I'm going to take some shots on Colby Young at 4,500. I think people are going to be off of this Georgia pass offense. I don't mind it. He was heavily targeted this week. He's the type of player that Georgia's really been missing as like a bigger bodied player. And one of Branch or Young's going to have a big game, maybe both. But I wouldn't double stack them with Gunnar Stockton, but I have zero issue playing either one of them with Gunnar Stockton. Last guy I'm willing to take shots on. His average depth of target is just absurd. Keyshawn Singleton, they're going to need to throw the ball. Miami's pass defense, we'll have to wait and see how good it is. But he's looked pretty good the first 2 weeks. We knew he was the number one target for Byron Brown. 4,900. He might make the pool. He might get cut from the pool. I think Miami probably ends up trying to handle this game on the ground. They have three capable running backs to carry it. So that is the pool for this week. I tell you what, let's build something fun here. So I know that I'm going to want Des Reed. I know I'm going to want Haynes. And for the hell of it, let's go. Let's go with something simple. Let's go Livingstone. All right, let's go with something fun. What is fun that we can build here? I think Livingstone's almost a lock right out the gate, but let's build something that's a double. Ooh, can we do a double-double? Can we do a double-double? No, I don't think we can. Let's go Mateer. Why not? He's expensive, but why not? Let's go Mateer. Let's go. Let's go Bayron. Why not? I like Bayron. I built a Bayron team earlier this week on stream. Let's see. What did that leave me with? 4,350. That's plenty of room. Running back. Let's take the Bama kid. Why not? Let's take Kevin Riley. All right, cool. Now we got all the salary in the world we could ever want. Let's take. I was going to say Virgil, but I don't think we need to go Virgil, and I don't think we need to stack Mateer. So let's take Livingstone because he seems to score every week, and he's a freaking arch roommate. Get Ballman out of there. You could do that, actually. You could take an extra guy down there. That leaves me 5,400. Well, I mean, so 5,4, 5,5. I can go 5,3, 5,6. Can I go? Let's see. What's 6,5 and 44? There's not a guy at 44 that I like. I would have liked that though if I could do that. I mean, the easy answer here is I don't really want to play Bayron naked though. All right, here's what we're gonna do. Let's go quarterback. Let's take Holstein. That way we're not playing Bayron naked. So let's go Eli Holstein. Boom. All right, now we got his stack already. Ding. I mean, we could play Bayron with Reggie Virgil, but I just didn't want to do. Well, I mean, we can do that. Fine. Holstein works the same way, though. They're the same price. But I was going to try to get Caleb Douglas in here. But I mean, the easy answer here is the chalks. Just throw Virgil in. Now I got 5,500. Yeah, sure. Give me Trent Walker as the bring back. Ding, ding. Like, now I've got Bayron with Virgil, and I'm bringing it back with Trent Walker, who's going to catch 8 balls. Kevin Riley is probably the Bama one back in this game. Don't mind it at 3K. You could also go Jaden Lamar there. Options. Livingstone, he's just Arch going to throw a touchdown to him every week as the roommate narrative. Top 2 running back plays on the slate. They're the top 2 overall plays on the slate, probably. And then Mateer, well, Mateer is the top overall slate play on the slate for sure from a points projection. So, yeah, and then you just get raw points all the way through. And then you can just start playing with this. I mean, this is easy to go to Holstein here. Now I got a ton more money for wide receivers. I can go, or I can upgrade here from him. I can get to Carson Hansen. You can move over and go to Gunnar Stockton, throw in one of his wideouts instead of Livingstone. Then you could end up with some of the bigger guys. You can throw in Stockton here and then have Mateer Stockton. Throw in Deion Burks as a stack partner and get one of the Georgia wideouts in, and then just kind of see what you have left there to play around with. I mean, there's just immense amount of ways to build on DK, but this is a solid team right out the gate. So we will be back tomorrow talking the FanDuel slate. I've run projections. I'm trying to narrow my pool even more. I got way too many people in my pool. Probably going to end up cutting more out of it, trying to narrow it down some. But fairly tight pool for DK this week. I think you can probably even cut this down some more. I probably will end up cutting it down more. But we will do a lineup builder and get our stuff going on Saturday. And we'll do a little live before lock, check to see if there's any injuries and stuff. And I will see you guys then. I'll see you tomorrow at 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning Central Time. And Saturday, we'll probably do 9 or 9:30 for a half hour to an hour and build some lineups, talk a little late slate as well. See you.